Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the J Rock Show here from the SimWorld TV studios here in the great state of Texas. It is a great Friday afternoon, but it is a little bit more somber on this Friday because the SimWorld U season is officially over. Hoopsteria is in the books. UCLA is your national champions, and joining me to talk about what has went down over the last week in both the quad and the national championship is a man who was on that big stage himself, and that is SMU freshman guard Cam Jones. Welcome back to the show, Cam. It's been a while since I last had you on, and can't really think of a better guest for the time of year.
All right. Man, it's good to be back, man. It's been a while. I think the last time I can't remember. I don't even want to. I think that was when maybe before the beginning of the season or the beginning of the season. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, man, it's good to be back though.
Yes, it's hope you're doing good, man. How are we doing? I hope you're handling everything well after the loss in the quad, but it was a fantastic run for you guys, and don't think anybody's
Right.
gonna deny that.
Right. I mean, it's if you would say bittersweet moment, making history, going there for my program, and that's the good part about it. And just the whole idea was just to put them on the map, was just to put SMU on the map. And I mean, I guess I got that done. And so, in a bittersweet moment, like I said, losing in the card, yeah, but I did what I came to do, and I'm gonna do more.
Oh well, I like the confidence, man. I was a great season for you all. 13 seed and a 14 seed in the quad. Don't think a lot of people were predicting that. We're the we're the lowest seeded team in the quad until Xavier. You saw that team. They beat you guys in the quad to get to the national championship. So, what was different about how about their defensive schemes compared to kind of everything else you faced throughout Hoopsteria, and what does that really kind of show you about a guy like Sean Miller? Because I know there's plenty of rumors about his future at Xavier right now.
Right. I mean, like I told B Run in the locker room after the game, and I mean, I mean, we went against multiple, decent defenses. With Arkansas, they had a quite decent defense. San Diego State, they played, kind of in a similar way, but not so much as to smother us. But Xavier, on the other hand, it was like a string. Everybody was just motioning around, and nobody could really. I mean, not saying nobody could, but in the scheme that we were trying to, um, basically, I guess, build on, which was just to move the ball around, that was kind of halted because of so many turnovers. And that's, I mean, I'm guessing, that was just my look when I looked at the scoreboard and the stat sheet after. It was basically just turnovers to me, and I'm thinking six, maybe more than that, but that was just kind of too much against Xavier, and they fed off that, and
Yeah,
that's just how we lost.
we 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 thought you guys at SMU were a Cinderella run. They were 14 seed, reached the national championship. The last 3 years at Xavier, Sean Miller, Super 16, Grade 8, national championship. Teams are definitely taking notice. I reported a few days ago that the Nuggets are interested in Sean Miller now. Miami wants him. Virginia wants him. This entire offseason coaching, the entire offseason coaching cycle is going to be dictated on does he stay or does he leave and pursue another job? And
I
it's
mean, I'm
it's definitely something interesting, Cam.
like speaking as like a fan, like as just a fan of the game. In my opinion, it's just me speaking. I don't believe he should leave. I mean, and if I'm we just gonna say if I was in his shoes, me personally, I'm a big underdog type of dude, you know. So, and in that case of me, you know, being on the run like he is with Xavier, I would stay for at least a good, you know, 3-4 years, see what I get out of that. Because what he has built and what I mean, I think he should just continue to feed off of that for right now. But if he does seek to move on to better pastures and what he think would be better for him, then that's also good. Because I mean, I always think you should go for what you want to go for.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
I also think it's kind of a scenario where, let's say the Nuggets call and an SWBA front
right,
office calls you about taking their job. He has no prior SWBA coaching experience. If sometimes when they offer you something like that, it's hard to turn down.
right.
Like
It, uh,
I think I can justify staying at Xavier over Miami or Virginia, but over a pro job, it's not like you're Dan Hurley last year where the Lakers are
yeah,
coming
right,
at you and there's a lot of scrutinization. This is you're still working with Nikola Jokic, but I don't think that there's as much pressure in a spot like that compared to what Dan Hurley would have stepped into had he taken that Lakers job.
right. But I mean, I would guess to say that he would be in a better position. I mean, I don't, maybe a similar position, I guess, at this point for the Nuggets. But I mean, like I said, if I was a coach and somebody came to me for somewhere, I'll probably go to the pros too myself. But that would probably, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a fan of the game, and I believe he should stay as Xavier,
Yeah.
because you know, and I mean, you know what I'm saying. Even though they knocked me out, it's a good team. That's a very good team. You got to be a very good team to knock us off from somewhere. So yeah,
Yeah. Of course. It's I'm not saying I think you should leave. I'm saying that this is a business and at this
yeah,
point
right,
you
right, right,
leave
yeah,
when
yeah,
you
most
feel the
definitely.
opportunity is the best. Sometimes
Right,
the
right.
grass may not always be greener on the
And he
other
has built
side,
a yeah, right.
but
He has built a good repertoire, a reputation with Xavier. So I mean, if he was to make the move, I don't think he would. I don't think it would go bad if to say that. I don't think it would
yeah.
be a bad thing.
Yeah, of course. And like going on about that, oh my god. Hold on, I gotta pause. Yeah, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and this is a business, and I think that's what people forget. And sometimes when you think an opportunity is better for the advancement of your career, Sean Miller coached at Arizona for a very long time, and only was not coaching at Arizona due to some recruiting violations and some scandals that happened in the program. It was never a matter of who he was as a basketball coach. No one's questioning that he was a very good basketball coach. And I think that this 3 year run with Xavier is kind of putting him back on the map because it's showing people what a guy like this is capable of doing at a school, at a Big East school. Really, not a lot of resources.
Right.
They have no one coming in for next year. And that's why I think that if you really look at it, there's a real chance that he does leave Cam. And
I mean, if you're looking at it in that sense, then correct. I mean, that would be correct because he at this point he not projected. Well, Xavier's not projected to get too many big signings this year. And I think what most of they roster are seniors or juniors or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So I get that point.
yeah. And continuing on that, national championship was on Wednesday. UCLA 72-56 win. Four in double figures. Wasn't really a big Jalen Snow night, but UCLA got there because of their offense, like that Jalen Snow. They were the best offense in all of college basketball. And
Right.
then it was their defense that just lit Xavier up. And I really don't think a lot of people expected that, especially you're someone who faced Xavier. Had you won that
Right.
game, you would have had to play UCLA. Like, what did you see watching that game?
I mean, I seen Xavier get just like deer in the headlights. Yeah, it was like maybe I want to say maybe like in I guess later into the second half when they really kind of just like froze and nobody was. I don't know. The defense didn't look like the defense we was playing. I can say that. I would say that it did not look like the defense we played. But I guess that's just what it is to play true top seed.
Yeah, UCLA a 3 seed, very different compared to a lot of the teams they faced. They kind of handled Memphis with ease in the opening round, but
Right,
UCLA has a lot more ways they can attack you. It's Jalen Snow is, I would say, miles better than a guy like Lace Darius Outlaw, and then you have a guy like LeGerald Carroll, who the best 3 point shooter in all of SimWorld U. You have Franklin Tyson, a still 7 foot freshman.
right.
Like that is a team that's deep. JJ Ortega, and they're a deep rotation that can just wear you down because they have so many guys. And
And I just always believe when you have a guy on your team that can do, pretty much the stuff that nobody speaks about. Like we talk about JJ Ortega. You said his name, and like we know don't people talk about it getting assists, but he did that in a sense of leading the way, if so to speak. I feel that's just kind of what I see when I see players like that, and that's just what I kind of image myself as for SMU. I know people kind of talk about how I don't score so much sometimes, but I don't really make that a big thing though, because I have scores on my team. I have guys that if we get into a patch and I'm shooting 1 from 6 from the 3 point line, I'm gonna let the ball go somewhere else. I'm gonna just do what I need to do for us to win the game. Because the most important thing is to win.
yeah,
And, right,
yeah, you have McAllen Duval, you have Maury Washington. That trio is like really kind of impressed a lot of people throughout
right,
Hoops area. It was
right,
like what I heard people saying about you guys as a trio is that it's like some Auburn trios from years past where you just see freshmen just rise to the occasions so admirably in a certain moment. And that was a team that won 6 games last year and was 3 freshmen that led them to the quad. That's kind of a storybook ending to the season, especially when you probably had a coach who going into the year was on the hot seat.
right. That was the kind of everybody talk about, and I mean we kind of had to, in a sense we had to take the load in a sense when you give somebody that type of we'll say give those type of people the range to something, they kind of in a sense they would rise to the occasion, and that's kind of what it was. We were already three separate guys that were maybe slept on in recruiting and whatever else the case may be. And I know I had a chip on my shoulder from losing the race to one. And I know I just wanted to do something more. And that's why when SMU came to me with what they came to me with, I mean I didn't kind of look nowhere else. I told Link that I was ready, and that's why I wanted to go. And that's I mean when I was looking like I told Marsh in my interview with him, I was looking at the roster, whatever the case may be, and I'm just seeing my chance, right? I'm just seeing the chance that I have, and all I wanted to bring was a kind of a winning feeling, right? If we win so much, right, you kind of gain a morale for the team, a better morale, and I kind of felt like that's what was the downfall, because you went in the locker room and Tory Lane and all those guys would just kind of like, what's up, my guy, and kind of not active around to help us in. So we kind of helped each other in, and that's kind of how we gained the chemistry we got.
Yeah, of course. And like you told me, you all live on the same floor. You all like came up together, and that really
Right.
helps with building comfort in a way like that. As someone who is on the younger side and does know the experience of walking onto a college campus and kind of being or feeling like alone, it helps having those guys to kind of go through it together. And in a sense, it kind of I don't know if I would use the term trauma bonded, but you guys were
In a
definitely
sense,
bonded
though,
through
right?
battle.
Right. Most definitely, though. Right. You're right. Correct. I mean, so just to say this right now, kind of nobody actually. I don't think nobody ever kind of just went too deep into my journey for real, but I've had one. And so just to be in this moment right now, and the moment that we were in, just winning and going so far into Hoopsteria, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to just the player I became and the player I wanted to be. As kind of going into my SimWorld prep, I was known for shooting mostly, but it was kind of exploited when I went to, and I'm not going, not to say that to Coach Banks and because he gave me my chance, and I most definitely say he is a big part of the reason of my success right now. I'm not gonna say he is, but he's a big part because he gave me a chance to be the I would say a option, right, a big option, and that kind of helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And
I
didn't want to
think
leave my hometown, but felt it was better though.
Yeah. I think that's such a big part of the sport that and the game that people forget is that you're not just committing to a school or a team, you're committing to a coach. And
Right,
you
right.
committed to Coach Banks twice. You committed to Coach Lanier. So you got you clearly do research about it because there's so many schools you could have chosen to go to in Texas. You got Texas Tech, you got
Definitely.
Baylor, you got TCU, UT,
Well,
A
see,
and
that's the thing.
M.
No,
Yeah,
none of those schools gave me off. None of those schools offered me at all, and that was another real reason why I went to this team in Texas. Right, I obviously wanted a team in Texas to offer me at least, but if we just are gonna speak plainly, this was the only Texas team that offered me at that point. Anyways, I had offers from other schools, but other bigger schools as well. But like I said, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a big sucker for bringing something from nothing to something, and that's just been my plan this entire time.
yeah. And so, speaking earnestly here, with there being so many options for Texas schools for you to commit to in SimWorld U, had they all offered you, where would you have preferred the most? Had hindsight actually been 2020?
Man, I spoke about this with Yales, I believe,
Hard
on
to
Hard in
paint?
the Paint. Yeah, and I would say U of H, most definitely. Like I wanted them so bad. I didn't even. I probably would have risked riding a bench for a year just to go there because that's just a school that when you think about your hometown schools and the biggest schools around, that's the biggest basketball school in in Houston. So yeah, obviously I wanted to go there, and they didn't look my way at all.
Yeah.
So, Texas, I kind of didn't, that's the school I always rooted for, just period as a fan. But I kind of didn't see me fitting over there.
Yeah, they had an interesting one. It would have been you, Vincent, and Arthur Lattimore would have been a
Yeah, that
very
probably
fun
would have.
trio, admittedly, but
I mean, I played with Vincent before though. I played with Vincent at H-Town Hoopers. I mean, so you know,
yeah, that would have helped with the familiarity. Like, but we saw UCLA win it all. We saw you guys go very deep into Hoopsteria. But what was the big learning lesson for you playing on such a big stage, playing in your first Hoopsteria? Like you've played in the run to one before, the race to one, but this is a whole nother beast. And some people people say pressure is what you put in diamonds. How do you think you handled the pressure?
I think I handled the pressure how you would think a freshman would. Nah, I don't want to say that because I wasn't. The pressure wasn't really just too much to beat everybody, but it was just to play better. We had a bad run at the end of the season, and the last game against Princeton, which was a team that everybody talks so highly about, we got the win. And I think that day in the locker room was the day that everybody kind of believed more for real after the last game. And I mean, never expected to get to the quad at all. I'm not gonna even say, but I expected to win the first game at least, because we were riding a little bit high at that time, and I mean, I I'm just glad that everybody kind of got it wasn't just about Cam Jones, and that's just my I don't know that's just my plan. I don't care about being a star. I don't care about none of that. I care about winning. That's it. That's all I care about. And if I'm on, if I'm doing that, everybody gonna talk about me, right? So I don't care about people just me having the ball in my hand all the time or cameras all in my face. None of the stuff like that. I lead my team. I lead my guys into the locker room with the cameras on them, and I back away because it's about a team at the end of the day. And that's what I wanted to find when I was looking at all schools. I wanted to find a team where I could kind of build. And what better way to do that with all freshmen or with mostly freshmen anyway.
Yeah, it because you
So
kind of grow together and think about next year. You'll have another year of
right,
eligibility under your belt. All three of
right.
you. You'll be battle tested by a hoopsteria, and you're still gonna have Kenyon Young coming in, who
Yes, sir, my guy.
I know you guys have a good relationship. So
yes, sir, already. I mean, I kind of basically brought him in. If you want to, say if I want to just give myself them flowers, I kind of, sealed the deal. But anyways, though, yeah, yeah, that's my guy. So I feel like he gonna come in and he's gonna add that extra bigness we need, that extra toughness down there that we need.
yeah, like because him and Maury's a
Man,
absolute freak, and then you bring in a guy like Kenyon Young who
right.
can complement
Every
that.
every time I do an interview or anything, go on the show, whatever, they ask me if is he really that big. The man is the man is big. Yes, the man is big.
Like you're 6'5", correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Right.
Yeah. I am like 5'8". Maury Washington towers over me. He
Right.
he makes you feel small. Imagine how small he makes like
Yeah, he
us
definitely
feel
like.
like.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't ever throw. Because if we just go, I don't think he'll ever have a Shaq game. And I'm not saying that as him not gonna be. But if you look at him, right, you look at him, and then you look at Shaq, and man, listen, that dude big. But to me, he fast. He too fast to be that big. Like he too nimble. And if he when he gets that together. Oh man, that'd be a dangerous man.
Yeah. And what I like we saw a lot of like surprises, hoopsteria, a lot of upsets. So what players do you think did the most for their draft stock this tournament? Because I know a lot of guys are freshmen that stood out. You guys, Cooper
Right,
Flag, but what
right.
about the guys who kind of put themselves on scouts' radar? Is there anyone you're like, damn, I think SWBA team should be looking at this guy
Uh, I would say, um, I would say my guy Barkley James. Even though they didn't make it as far, I just even though he a freshman like I am, so we not eligible until what
next year?
the next year. So, but I would say him. I would also say uh, what's the guy from Arizona? Um,
Not Corey
like
Yams.
I could not come on, ain't nothing Corey Yams. Um, the other guy. I don't want to say the wrong name, but we'll just move on from there. Uh, I say my boy Tory Lane. That's who I say. That's who I would say.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, they definitely should be looking at him. That'd be a piece for anybody.
I think LeGerald
Um,
Carroll is the guy that really impressed me. That's a
right,
shooter,
right.
good
For
defender
the
too.
for what
So
he can do in the paint as well, yeah, that's a good guy. That's a good guy to have right there. I was looking at that, and he had a jam, and I want to say that was the first quarter, somewhere midway, I think, and he had it. I'm like, "Man, that's they shooters. That's the shooter, right? Ain't that the
yeah,
one that shoot?" But yeah,
scouts
you're
like
right.
him a lot more uh people people in the media do. Is I think he could go as high as the lottery. I don't maybe not top 10 because he's a little bit small to be a forward, but
I
as
want
a
to say this
shooter and a defender, yeah,
because I know I said this in the in the chat. I mean in the in the chat or whatever, but I'm saying this right now, and I look, y'all can say what y'all say, and the man sparked, right? But I do not believe that Jalen Snow will go over CKC or Jamison Johnson. That's just me. That's just me. All right. In my opinion, I just want to get that out there. That's just me. All right. Because I've been seeing people say that a lot, and I mean, I get it. I understand that he had a. But if we gonna talk about building pieces and building the team, you know, I feel like he would be a good accessory to something that's already sparking right now. I don't believe that at a time right now he'll be able to come in and just be that impactful. I mean, that's just me. That's just me. I don't. I study for film for myself and to not to build a team. So
I actually really like New Orleans as a spot for him, Cam, as because you got guys like Zion, Dejounte Murray. You have a
right,
lot of pieces in place there where he can instantly step in and make an impact, but you're not asking him to be your franchise player right away. That's what
right,
Cooper
right,
Flag's going to have in Dallas. I think that's the situation that can really help the development of a guy like Jalen Snow. But then again, he does have more college experience. So putting him in a
correct,
scenario where he's asked to do a lot right away, I think is something he can handle. He spent the last 3 years playing in the bright lights of Los Angeles.
right, right, right.
Like, I think he has kind of been battle tested, but I also like a spot for him, like the Pelicans, where I know that's sixth overall, but or
I mean,
actually
but that's
Wizards are
what I
sixth.
would think.
Excuse me,
That's where
or
I think he
seventh,
would
I
fit.
believe.
You're
New
not
Orleans
wrong.
is seven, is the spot
He
that I'm
could
looking
very
at.
much. He could very well fit at New Orleans. I mean, you know, and like that's he fit in that top 10 most definitely. He fit somewhere in that top 7, top 6 right there. He right up in there. So that would be to me. Like I said, in my opinion, I don't want nobody going all crazy on me in chat when I say that. That's
No,
just me.
no, I understand the point because I think like you have a guy like they could very easily blow it all up, but they only were bad because they got hurt, and that gives Jalen Snow an opportunity to start for that team and
Right,
eventually
right,
become their guy. But you're not needing him to put up 30 a game right away. Like he has time to
right.
work with the core that's there, and that's why I like that spot for him. A spot like not Minnesota, Washington and Utah that are right before it. Both of those are younger teams where they're gonna want more from a guy like Jalen Snow.
Right, right, right. And so they should get somebody like Jonathan Jameson. I mean, yeah, they should
Yeah,
get somebody like him. Me
Lamarian
personally,
Sherwood.
ah, I'm not gonna say not Lemarian Sherwood, but to me, I don't know. I just been riding, you know what I'm saying? Because I kind of, played a couple of pickup games with my boy JJ and stuff like that. So, but I ain't no favoritism guy, and I like talent. I know talent, and I mean, until they came out with this,
Cooper Flag.
letting Cooper Flag and Dylan Harper go to the draft. I I mean, I probably wanted JJ to go first, but Sherwood was the top pick for sure.
Yeah, I like Johnson's game more. I think it'll translate better. He's younger, has less of an injury history, and
Most
I think he'd
definitely.
be a better fit next to Anthony Davis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Should
Maybe.
this rule never happen, but now that it is, I kind of like the idea of Jameson Johnson ending up in Charlotte
And Charlotte.
or even Philadelphia if Embiid gets moved.
Yeah, I do think that Philadelphia might be trying to move around from that man right there. That's a curse.
Yeah, SWBA is going to have some drama. It's going to be a fun offseason. Cam, I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
really hope to have you back on over the offseason to talk more about SMU next year, talk about the guys who are going pro, guys who are coming in, and it's been fun, but that's going to do it for this episode of the show. Cam, thank you so much for joining me. You're always welcome back. It's been a very long time. We were talking about the last time you were here at the start of the episode. I think it was when J.R. Storm was the host of the show, actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You right. You right. You are right.
But So this is I believe this is the first time where you're on with me as the host,
Yeah,
and
one on one.
it won't
Yeah,
be the
one on one.
last.
Now, most definitely, yes, sir. Just let me know whenever you want me to come through. Yes, just let me know.
Cam Jones delivers, ladies and gentlemen. It was a fun hoops area run for SMU. It was a very dramatic last few weeks, and I think I speak for all of us when I say I could really use a nap. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, appreciate you all tuning in. I will see you next Friday, folks, with a new guest on tap. Have a great week, and remember, SimWorld is the only place you can see the game, be the game.